Oh, whatever. I don't even care anymore. I'm just gonna say something stupid. You ready?
Yeah.
Energy.
Energy.
Energy. Hi, welcome back to the Final Bros. Boo! Happy Halloween. I'm Dorcas Whore.
And I'm Doth Eyes.
And on this episode, we're talking about Season 6, Episode 5 of the Boulay Brothers' Dragula. Dragula, the musical.
Dragula. Never mind. Okay, great. Anyway,
What was your, when we first read the title of this episode when we were clicking on it on Shudder.com, what was your impression? What was your thought process?
I have to tell you, as somebody who genuinely likes musicals, this was rough. It's always rough in drag shows when they do a musical episode because there's two kinds of people that I notice in these television programs. There's most of them which have no musical theater experience or knowledge whatsoever, and they're just struggling to stay alive this week. But occasionally there's like one person who like loves musicals, and that person is usually insufferable.
There's usually people who have no experience and it's miserable, and there's people with too much experience and it's miserable.
Exactly. Well, that's not exactly what I meant, because a lot of times they don't have nearly enough experience, but they think they do.
They're passionate.
This episode only had the first group of people who knew nothing about musical theater and were truly just trying to survive.
When I think of Dragula monsters, something that I don't necessarily immediately think about are musicals.
Oh, not at all. At one point, the Boulay brothers said, "This challenge isn't for anybody. Why did we do this?"
Yeah, literally, was it Swan that said that? It was like, "Oh, why do we do this?"
Yeah, I think so.
For?
Yeah, and I think what happened. My theory is that they've had Alaska on as a guest before, and I think Alaska just was gonna promote Drag the Musical, which is Alaska's musical.
Yeah.
So they figured, why don't we do our first musical episode? I think this is the first time they've done this.
Yeah,
right?
they've never. I mean, they've done music-based episodes, like infamously every season they have the Monsters of Rock challenge and everything.
I know, the challenge that nobody wants, yet they think everybody loves.
I love the Monsters of Rock challenge. They usually make some
really.
I think they make some really good looks for them. God. I don't always love how it turns out for the performance, but for the looks, Sigourney Beaver's Marie Antoinette kiss medal look.
I mean, Sigourney Beaver always looks good.
That one, I'm always excited about that. Unfortunately, that's not the episode we're on.
No.
My first impression was like, oh no. So
it's rough. And especially like,
I mean, the episode starts out rough because once again, too much time at the long table, we're waiting to see who comes back from extermination. I literally have no idea what they were talking about. I don't remember.
I just remember everybody comes in pairs. So it's
right.
Pie
and Asia come in.
Exactly.
And they're like, interesting that we came in together. And we're like, what?
Right. And then they start to talk about their alliance, which, by the way, still has amounted to literally nothing. Like, it doesn't matter.
It's like they had to remind themselves that they were in an alliance, because they're like, why did producers put us together? Oh, right.
Because we need to talk about our alliance. That doesn't matter. So that happens, and then who came in next? I don't know. Two more. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think it was it? I don't know. But the rest of them come in. We have 8 people left.
Yeah.
And then they're wondering, well, who's coming back from the extermination? Because we were left on a cliffhanger, and as we expected, nobody went home.
Right.
Because
which we had kind of assumed it was going to be either no one went home or both of them went home, which would have been more surprising.
yeah, because Vivi comes back first, and everybody's kind of like, I don't want to say. I'm trying to remember their exact reactions, but I generally remember them being
they were all shocked.
They were like, Gray Matter went home.
Yeah.
And then Gray Matter also comes back in. And
they were talking so much shit about Vivi.
Yeah, they really were like, well, Vivi's gone. So they come back and it's revealed that Majesty, unfortunately, has decided to, Bendela cremed herself. He decided that he's just not in, like, the mental space to be doing this competition after all. And has exited, which means both of them get to survive the extermination.
Right, which is then accompanied by a montage of Majesty crying backstage, which it was like a director's cut.
Yeah.
A director's cut of her crying. Like, there were scenes that we had never seen before.
Yeah, never before seen scenes of crying. It was kind of funny, even though, like...
I mean, I could not stop laughing. That was such an insane choice. Whoever directed this season of Dragula, making insane directorial choices.
Storylines are not their strength, but these insane, like, cobbled together, like, scenes are hilarious.
Yeah, it's so bizarre. So she went home. I want to say this because, like, I remember I was talking to one of our friends recently about the way Majesty was being treated, and I said I felt really bad for her, and then our friend said, well, she just seems so fake. And I was like, I don't get that at all.
Same.
Like, for people who think that she seems fake, I don't understand that. Like, to me, she just seems like somebody who was uncomfortable and, like, didn't know how to read a room and was oversharing a lot. I think that's the opposite of fake. It's like, it didn't seem like her emotions were fake. It just felt like she couldn't get it together.
Yeah. It's like, I can see why somebody might think that would register as fake, but for me, I'm like, I just see somebody who's just really uncomfortable and, like, struggling to fit in and just not reading the room, like you said. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense to me.
I think Asia at one point, like, clocked that a little bit because Auntie Heroine was the one who was Auntie was pushing the most,
like, leading this like charge to be like, you're a narcissist and you need to be held accountable for being a narcissist. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, which, like, I don't think anyone seemed to really echo that. It was just kind of was like a
nobody was really agreeing with Auntie. I don't think they're just like, okay, girl.
Like, I don't know. I kind of feel bad for her. I don't know. I don't like when people are.
It seems like she's been having a hard time the entire season behind the scenes, just like.
Yeah. And I just don't. I mean, I get that it's like it's a TV show and we're here for our entertainment and stuff, but it's like, I don't love when I feel like somebody's very obviously having issues and, like, everybody's kind of ganging up on them.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good to see somebody getting ganged up on when they're obviously, like, not feeling great.
Mm-hmm.
But also, whatever, like, but Majesty's already been on the show, so you would think they would know what they were getting into going back again, but...
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe they were offered the chance to come back, and even though they weren't feeling great, they were like, "I'm going to give it a shot to, like, get back out there into the spotlight," and it just wasn't panning out for them.
That happens a lot. I feel like with a lot of these shows where it's like, unfortunately, you as a contestant on a reality TV show, you cannot choose when you want to go to these things. You get the opportunity
presented, you get cast, and if you don't take it, it'll move on to somebody else.
So it's just like, I understand why she would go, even if she wasn't feeling up to it. But I don't know. I'm glad she did what was best for her mental health.
Yeah, I always think people should
do
like what's good for them, even if it makes for weird TV. Like, do what's good for you. Prioritize yourself. So hopefully, I hope Majesty is doing better. It does seem like the cast in general do get along off camera. I've been seeing that a lot on social media. So hopefully she's doing better now. But yeah, that's what happened at the beginning of this episode.
Yeah, so actually weird. Something important did happen, and they kind of gloss over it pretty quickly. But don't worry, there's still more talk about the Alliance to come, because that's what we're all wondering about. So
we're not doing a fright feat this episode, so there's no curse.
Yeah.
Which means lower stakes for the rest of the episode.
Classic. We love low stakes. But they don't do a fright feat because they have tons of time with Alaska Thunderfuck 5000 from RuPaul's Drag Race.
The Boulets go on the TV to...
On the TV?
So each episode starts with the Boulets in their like little sitting room where they tell us about this week's challenge, the audience. And then they tell us all the details about it. We know it's going to be a musical. We know they're going to be judging on like choreography and like all that kind of stuff. And then we go through the entire long table process of drama. And then they come on the TVs so they can tell us about the challenge all over again.
Yeah, this is one of the craziest things about this
such a weird
season.
Format.
Because in previous seasons, they would start the episodes with like a little sketch.
Yeah, like a skit that has to do with the challenge.
Thing. I don't know why this season, it just really feels like they're trying to meet like a word count. Like there's like a certain amount of time
this time around?
It's not even that. It just feels like they don't have any ideas. It's like, is it that hard to fill time in a TV show? Like give the contestants more things to do. Like, I mean... I don't understand.
I mean, I want to see more of the creative process. I want people to talk about their looks more and like show us their sketches and their ideas more.
Or even just do like a dumb RuPaul's Drag Race style, like get into quick drag and let's do a photo shoot. Like,
I want a
those
mini
things are not
challenge
hard
every
to do.
episode. I like a mini challenge.
I mean, it's like
Get
I don't
Cynthia
need a mini
Doll back, play more
but...
dodgeball. I don't care.
Yeah, but if the episode's gonna be like 45 minutes long,
play Red Rover.
You might as well have one. Well, anyway, so...
They freeze tag.
Also, the other thing is, like, this musical episode, there's so much they could be doing as far as, like, filling time. Yeah. It's a musical episode. Like, they have to talk about singing and dancing and all that shit. But then again, I will say, having watched the singing and dancing, maybe they didn't want to have to show us more of that.
I'm okay with not more.
So, Alaska comes in and...
Yeah, because Alaska's producing... this show called Drag, the musical. And so they're doing some light adaptation of it for Dragula. Like they're sort of like watering it down and retooling it to be a little more Dragula flavored.
Yeah, so my understanding of what this musical is on off-Broadway is that what you say, on off-Broadway? Is it just off-Broadway?
I think it's just called like an off-Broadway production.
Yeah. So anyway, it's like it's like two drag houses that are like going head to head in some sort of like voguing battle or something. Seems to be like the plot of the off-Broadway show. I know nothing about this show. Like literally, like as somebody who likes musicals, I listen to a lot of musicals. I feel like I'm pretty up to date on what's going on when it comes to like theater and Broadway and all that kind of stuff. Never heard of this until this episode. Maybe I just don't pay enough attention to like Alaska on social media, but I didn't know
I've seen Alaska post about it on like Instagram and Twitter and stuff.
Have you seen like clips from it or anything? Like,
yeah, I didn't really watch them, but I did see. I scrolled past them. They were there.
I believe you. I mean, I didn't really care enough to look into it, and I'm going to be completely.
Well, you know me, I'm not a huge musical person, so it's like Alaska's doing Drag the musical. I'm like, good for you, girl. Anyways,
as somebody who is a huge musical person, I would not go see this show after watching this fucking episode of Dragula. Like, I feel like, unfortunately, as much as I love Dragula and I love the Boulet brothers, they are terrible at advertising things. I would never pay them to advertise something for me. I mean,
the only advertisement that worked for me was fiercedragjewels.com.
Oh yeah, that was fine.
But like the Timey app where they're like vomiting while talking about Timey, not great.
Like, no, it was terrible. So it's like I don't know. Anyway,
yeah, because obviously this is like to advertise Drag the musical a bit,
right?
Because they're like showcasing it.
And
poorly.
Also, one of the prizes is the winner of the episode is going to perform in Drag the Musical off Broadway, which is like crazy.
It's weird to tie like a contractual agreement into as a prize.
I mean,
like a job.
Yeah.
Like, what if you just don't
Well, I
want
guess
to
it's
do
like
a
I think it's like
musical?
I think it's like one episode.
Yeah, I think it's just like you get to
maybe.
perform like once or whatever.
Yeah, so I'm sure it's a fun little like gig, and they probably just go in and sing.
But what
a
if you
song or
went and
whatever,
you're
but
like, I don't want to do that. Sorry.
I don't know. I know.
They
Do
can't
have
force
to do it?
you.
Well,
Well, anyways, we're really getting sidetracked here, but it's a Broadway
I'm
musical.
stalling because I don't want to relive
I
the actual
know.
parts where they're singing and dancing.
But like,
So-
okay, so like we find out about that, but then like they skip ahead where we don't even like. There's no discussion about how the teams are going to be split. They're just suddenly
Yeah.
split into two teams.
Yeah, even though in previous episodes we've spent a full 20 minutes talking about dividing up teams.
Yeah, but like they just off camera, like we just cut straight from them learning about this week's challenge to already being split into groups and starting rehearsal. And so we have two teams. We have two houses. We have the Snake Pit and the Rat House Fever. And
Yeah.
the Snake Pit is Asia Consent, Aurora Gosmic, Jaharia, Pi.
Right.
Rat House Fever has Auntie Heroine, Gray Matter, Vivi, and Yuri. Mm-hmm. And we get a lot of rehearsal time, and it's not promising. The only way anybody is flourishing is the Snake Pit, who is lucky enough to have Jaharia. Jaharia is like choreographing the entire thing, like leading the group,
Yeah.
walking them through this, and everybody's like so thankful for Jaharia because they actually have like moves to do together and look organized. Meanwhile, Rat House is literally so disjointed, disorganized.
It's rough. I mean, there's a section where they're like rehearsing in some like abandoned warehouse, it seems. Like some corner of the studio where there's just no set. And there's somebody watching them. I'm assuming she's like a choreographer or something.
She
I don't
has
even
to
know
be
who she
some
was.
kind of choreographer or something. I don't know. I don't remember them introducing her, but she's just there.
No,
like,
I don't remember them introducing her. And also, I don't remember her giving any critiques. They just showed shots of her like looking at them like concerned.
Yeah, like reacting to them doing poorly and being like,
Like literally. I'm sure she probably did give some critiques, but like it didn't feel like in Drag Race when they do these kinds of montages, they usually at least try to like make you feel like they got something out of that interaction.
Yeah.
I have no clue what that woman was there for, what her
No.
job was, and if she even like spoke to them.
it's like they forgot to introduce her.
Literally.
But we get
So-
that, like instead of having a fright feat, we just get like extended rehearsal time, which is not a
Right.
great substitute.
Yeah, and part of the rehearsal time is them just singing live in front of Alaska.
Oh yeah,
And-
they kind of pull them into the cauldron to just sing with Alaska.
And I've got to say, I like Alaska a
Yeah.
lot. I don't think of her as a like musical director, vocal coach type of person.
Yeah.
So I just don't know that. I understand why she's there. I understand that we're there because it's Alaska and it's like the star quality of Alaska. But it maybe would have been more helpful to have like an actual vocal coach to come and like be there with them. And like
It
Alaska
would
could have
be
still given some
helpful.
direction, but maybe actually have somebody who can like teach them how to sing a little bit or guide them or advise them slightly.
Yeah, I agree because did not think they were going to force them to sing live. I thought it was going to be some sort of pre-recorded thing because no one on this cast, except for maybe a couple people, really fancy themselves a vocalist.
I don't think anyone here really considered themselves like a singer. Now, I will say there were a couple people who really went for it, and I
Yes.
appreciated that.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone sounded good. Like,
No.
it was really
And
like,
they definitely
it was,
didn't try to make anyone sound good.
no, it felt like karaoke, like in a bar at
Was
4
so
a.m.
weird.
So, thing number one, I couldn't really quite clock how they were recording the audio. It's possible they were just recording it through like lavaliers and like mic packs and stuff, because like the audio itself sounded very unprofessional. Like, it did not
Yeah.
sound like if
It
you were
was
going to record
all over the
music.
place.
Yeah, like the vocals didn't sound like they were recorded in a way that you would typically record like music vocals.
Yeah.
Which is already setting them up for failure. On top of that, they clearly had no intention of like doing any sort of like post production to help it sound better.
No,
which
it was
is
like raw.
yeah, which I mean, like, that's fine. I get it. Like, they're singing live and they want to be them to be judged like that, but I don't know. It just feels really like, even like professional singers will usually have some level of like effects on their voice.
Yeah,
just
some
give
sort
it a
of
little bit.
reverb, some sort of
Yeah.
some sort of, you know, EQing going on to make sure they at least just like give them their best.
Yeah, so their audio is like, their vocals
Chance.
are balanced. I mean, even us here, it's like our audio is not great, but we at least balance our voices
Yeah.
and like make it
Yeah.
sound better. Like, I don't understand why we're just listening to like raw, unfiltered like audio from a lavalier mic.
Yeah, so okay. So much of this episode is nothing. Because
Yeah.
once again, we're not even really getting a floor show. Like for
No.
looks. Their looks are all just sort of like they're sort of like compiled together so they look kind of cohesive. And
I mean,
they're just either a snake person or a rat person.
I would even go as far as to say their looks are pretty much all just like random cheap fetish wear.
Yeah, they
can get
literally
from
look
Amazon
like
Prime.
they're like pulling out things like this tank top that I'm wearing.
Literally,
with
they're
like
just wearing like
a bit
stuff
of
that
like
we would
mesh
order.
and like neon pantyhose. Some of them have specialized like prosthetics and stuff because they were obviously told to bring like some rat ears.
Which I think I'm pretty sure Grey Matter said that they made the rat ears and nose for everybody.
Well, then there you go.
Yeah, I think Grey Matter made them all. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I swear I saw like
don't
Grey Matter say
know.
like they made a specialized like nose for everybody or something.
I think the nose was definitely. I think he made the noses, but like they all had different ears.
Oh, okay. Well,
So yeah, okay. Like I just don't. Let's just get straight into it. So
I know it's like I don't even know where to start with this because
it's like we just got to get into the most difficult part. So okay, let's start out easy. The boulets. Let's talk about the boulets. There's some good and some bad with these looks.
what looks were these?
Here, I'll send you the image.
Okay, I don't remember.
Sorry, I
these
forgot to
at
I forgot to
all.
provide you with all the necessary information.
Oh my god, I forgot about this. Oh my god,
Yeah,
I totally
so-
forgot about this.
They're wearing these like it almost like the way I just keep thinking about it, it looks like black licorice. It's this weird
looks like-
textured fabric, and I will say from tits up, I think they look really cool.
Right.
I
it
love
looks
these like
they weren't
super
expected-
peaked shoulders. I like they don't usually do like a metallic blue lip and these like purple like contour, and I was like, I think from here up, if I just saw that, I'd be like, they look so cool. This is so slay. I wish I had a jacket like that.
It literally looks like they did not expect to be filmed from the waist down.
Yes, because the bottom
Like-
of their dresses look like untucked dress shirts,
Yeah.
just like hanging out because they don't have any hip shape. They just go straight down.
they're also like weirdly different. Like if you look at the way they both come into like a different kind of point. And this is okay, this is something
Yeah.
that like we need to get to the bottom of this because this
I
is the
need
second
to know
time.
why Big Boulet's version looks bad.
Yes! This is the second time we've seen them in some sort of dress that's made of like PVC or some sort of weird like structural material. And Little Boulet's dress looks fine. It looks probably how it was intended to look.
Yeah, that's exactly how it's
Big
intended
Boulet's,
to look.
It literally looks like they took it and crushed it up into like a ball and then like just opened it back up and put it on.
It like Dracmorda's like shoulders look deflated and kind of like weirdly smushed.
Yeah.
Like in flat. And then like the way that it's supposed to come down to a point in the front, but Big Boulet's doesn't. It's like rounded out. Also,
right, which like that is definitely just how
rough.
Yeah.
This episode, I don't know what was going on. Like there was like this. I don't know if they were running short on time, but like they did this like purple contouring, and on one side it was nicely blended and like looked really good. On the other side, it was like just all solid purple. It was really weird. I don't know if they were in a rush.
I know, like, and what confuses me is that it's like, I don't understand, like, there are other people on set who are there to make sure they look good.
Yeah.
And those, I'm assuming that there's some sort of like wardrobe person or something who can like help them out. And whoever that person is helping Little Boulet, but then not helping Big Boulet. Which makes me wonder.
Or Little Boulet isn't helping Big Boulet, and Big Boulet is helping Little Boulet.
Do you think?
I don't know. Maybe Little Boulet's mad at Big Boulet. Do you think?
Well, no, what I was wondering is, like, maybe Big Boulet is just, like, difficult to work with. Like, because I will say, I have worked with people where, like, I will let them go out looking like shit because I don't want to talk to them. I have literally done that before.
Well, that's but, like, are they having a lover spat where, like, Little Boulet's like, you can go out like that. I'm not telling you you look like shit.
Are they lovers?
Yeah. They're a couple.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
I don't know.
But anyways,
I don't know their
I
life.
hate everything from the waist down. Like the bottom of the dress looks awful. They're once again, they just have bare legs and it looks weird. And then they have these like to have like a sort of like kind of mini skirt length, but then have like a knee-high boot. And you just have like the bottom of your thighs and your knees showing. It just looks.
Yeah. And like, I don't.
Not.
Listen, I understand that like. You can do drag however you want to do drag. And it's not about like being feminine and all that kind of stuff. But like, it's confusing to me when when you're in drag and you know you're going to be seen head to toe. There are some parts of your body that I feel like it's like, are they not thinking about the fact that we're gonna see their legs? Like, I don't know. I don't understand why they're not.
Okay,
like,
in this picture, literally the Boulet standing next to Alaska, and Alaska has Capezio tights, padding on the like ass and thighs, fishnets over the Capezios, and then the boots. I'm like, when you see that many levels of layering, and then you see the Boulet's just naked legs.
I know, and it's like clearly they shape their legs,
hips.
but like, are they putting makeup? It doesn't look like there's any makeup on their legs.
It's just a stark difference. But anyways,
how old are the Boulet brothers?
I don't know, but I want to give these looks a slay because I do like them from up here. It's just it's like a half slay. I don't know how to say like it's mostly there.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What is going on with Little Boulet's hand?
Doing like this, just like.
But like no, like look at her skin.
What do you mean?
Is that like makeup to make her look more vampire-y, or is her?
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Zoom into her hand.
I'm zoomed all the way in. I just see a hand.
Her hand makes her look like she's like 70.
Are you talking about the wrinkles?
Just like in general, like she's got like an old lady hand.
I think.
Does she do like?
I think we need to move on. I don't know why you're fixating on this hand.
I just like I'm so confused about what's going on. Anyway, I just assumed maybe she was doing like an old lady vampire hand thing.
You think she not? She did like. she wrinkled up her hand for a.
No, I mean,
think
they
that's
always
just
do
her
like
hand.
the like vampire claws and shit.
I think she just has wrinkly fingers. I think that's it.
All right, well, I believe you. Anyway,
Are you giving this
I
look a
don't mean
slay or
to.
nay?
The look, it's from the waist up, it's a slay. From the waist down, no.
Okay, great. But
I will say though, on the topic of their guest judges, they both.
okay, yeah, I was gonna introduce the guest judges now because we got two reoccurring ones. We got Alaska, of course, who's been here throughout the entire episode, and she's wearing a mostly just like standard drag front zippered like leotard, but it has her ass out apparently. I didn't even know that until right now, where you can see her ass to the side. But she's rhinestone. She's wearing, thigh highs. She looks fine. And then we also have this guy's been on every single season, and it's Darren Stein. Do you know who Darren Stein is?
From Dragula exclusively.
Okay, so Darren, the thing I know Darren Stein the most for is that he's the writer director of Jawbreaker, which is I love Jawbreaker. So that's why I know who Darren Stein is.
I love his suit. It's incredible.
Oh, it looks great. I love this suit.
I want it. It's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that it's like...
It's a cool color, and it's like this weird, like... It's like somebody overlaid like some sort of like lacy pattern, like spray painted.
Yeah, or like I mean, it almost looks like they took one of those like textured rollers and just like rolled like a bit of ink onto the suit. It's very cool. It looks very, very interesting.
Yeah,
I love it.
And he has like a big like drag mohawk glued to his bald head, and like this fun like lightning bolt eyeliner.
Really fun.
He looks a bit like anti-heroin.
Yeah,
like a light version of anti-heroin. He looks cool. And like, he's a recurring judge. He's fun to have around. He was very nice this episode, I would say, considering what he was judging.
I not to dwell, but I'm really starting to wonder, maybe the Boulay brothers don't have somebody. Like, they don't have like
That's
a
what I'm saying. I think they just have each other. And if they don't tell each other that they look bad...
That's crazy to me.
Then they just go... Because, like, they do their own makeup. That's why they have different makeup styles.
Yeah, but still, like, you don't have to... I mean, you can still have a wardrobe person on step to, like, take care of your costumes. That's, like, pretty standard, I feel
I don't know. We'll have to check the credits.
Yeah, I'm so confused.
But yeah, we get into the musical where they're going to have to, in each of their groups, perform live vocals and dance. And it is painful.
It's rough.
Who went first? Was it Rat House went first?
Sure.
Rat House went first. And I just want to say, leading up to this point, the narrative that they're trying to frame is that the Snake Pit is killing it. They're doing great. They have everything. They have choreography. They have vocals. They're confident. And then Rat House is like, we suck. And they're terrible, and they're going to fail. And when they both came out, they were both just kind of bad.
Yeah.
By the way they were presenting it, I was like, oh, one group's going to blow the other out of the water. And then at the end, I'm like...
I don't think anyone did well. I mean,
honestly, there's one person I would credit with anything in this episode. And that would be Jaharia. Because at least Jaharia got together their choreography.
Yeah. I think...
But Rat House... Oh, sorry, go.
I was like, if somebody had to win by default, it should be Jaharia. Just purely on, like, the amount of work they did.
Work they fucking did. But Rat House, which is Anti-Heroine, Grey Matter, Vivi, and Yuri, they are struggling through this number because... Yeah. Vivi is so offbeat, and we're talking the beat is bump snap bump snap.
It's
snap.
It's like
bare bones, and somehow Vivi is 8 steps ahead and offbeat, and it's
like shocking.
I
get that these are not singer, dancer, performers.
But they're people that perform to music.
Exactly. That's what I don't understand. It's like, how do you perform to music in nightclubs daily or nightly or whatever, and you can't understand like a basic tempo? Just stay on beat.
It's like shocking how bad it is. How incredibly offbeat Vivi is.
I know. You know what I think? I think part of it, like, I don't know how much rehearsal they had, because like to me,
we saw they had 2 days of rehearsal where they got.
Did they do a full run through though? Like that's the part that I don't think they ever showed. Like they never show it in these kinds of shows. Like how often do they actually get a chance to really run through the entire show? Because in a real musical, you're not just gonna like learn your part and your choreography and then like do it on the day of the show. No. You're gonna do multiple full run throughs with the entire cast. Do they ever do that in these shows?
I have no clue. But like
either way,
Vivi's look is confusing because she has a big pizza slice.
Right, which
she has like cow ears.
It's a purse.
She has your ears. They're like these weird side cow ears.
Yeah.
That don't look like anyone else's ears.
No.
It's so weird.
Like donkey ears.
They're like donkey ears. It was so confusing to me.
Yeah.
And then like we have Yuri, who is supposed to be like, they're all supposed to have these different rat characters. And I think at least their team did well with like characterizing themselves to be unique characters.
Yeah.
Because they at least look different. Because like, you know, Gray Matter's like rabies rat, like dirty rabies rat. And that was kind of interesting. Yuri's like slut rat.
Yeah. I don't remember them really going through the characters. Like I remember at one point
they didn't really like read the script to us or whatever.
I remember at one point, like I think Alaska was like, "What do you know about like sexy rat?" And then they were like, "Well, they're sexy and they're a rat."
Yeah, they established that this character is supposed to be sexy rat, but like
Auntie Heroine was like old lady, like old.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like old lady rat, but like didn't look like an old lady. Looked like she looked like you know, she looked like Acid Betty doing the roller derby look.
Yes. Oh my God. I was thinking of that when we were watching this show, like in general. I keep thinking, and I hate to do that. I hate to compare like drag performers like that, but it's like Auntie Heroine reminds me so much of Acid Betty.
Well, they do the same thing where they have like the big mohawk piece like glued to their head, and then they just take their makeup all the way up. They do the same.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like, it's just like
but this looks like so much like that roller derby look that like it pulled that out of my brain. Where it's like, remember when Acid Betty did that roller derby look? And I was like, I didn't know I remembered that, but sure, I remembered it from the roller skating episode.
Okay, well, anyways, so Vivi does this really rough performance. Like literally, like if I did that, I would want to die.
I would dive off the stage head first.
She did that,
and hope that on impact it would either kill me or I would at least get a concussion so severe I would lose all memory of this event and I could start fresh.
The fact that she did that on TV and that's living forever is like a representation of her and her art is wild to me.
That's like,
can't believe that I watched that. It was so bizarre. And then so I don't remember who came next.
Well, like it was Yuri and then Gray Matter and they did fine.
Yeah, did they go before Auntie Heroine?
I think so, because Auntie Heroine was blaming everyone else on her team for why she messed up.
Right, yeah.
Because Auntie Heroine brings up the tail end and forgets her fucking lines.
Auntie Heroine, listen, they have like 2 lines each. It's literally like they have to remember 2 sentences. And Auntie Heroine somehow forgets one of her lines. I can't even, like, how is that possible? Like, I understand like stress and nerves and all that, but it's like, it's
and the worst part about it is like, it's one thing to forget your lines and be like, and like make it into a character moment. She was visibly like
Yeah, it like derailed her entire performance, which at one point one of them brought up like, well, she was the old lady rat, so it made sense. And it's like, yeah, it would have made sense if she played into it like
she
a character
played
choice,
into it like she
but
was like, I'm
didn't.
so old I forgot my line. But no, she literally just like visibly got thrown. And,
yeah, and just froze and kind of like mumbled a little bit.
He
and
mumbled it and then
it.
just like carried on from the point that she remembered. It was bad.
Yeah, it was rough. I'm gonna be completely honest. I completely forgot Aurora and Grey Matter.
Not Aurora. That's Yuri.
Oh, sorry, Yuri. Wait, where's Aurora? Oh, Aurora's in the other group.
Snake
Oh,
pit.
yeah. Okay, never mind. Sorry, I was just looking at this group. Yeah, so Yuri and Grey Matter completely forgot about them.
They were.
I will say
were okay. They were just fine.
I liked Yuri's like shawl or like a boa made of
yeah, like the
bags.
garbage bag boa was cute. Like Grey Matter and Yuri had some fun ideas to their like looks.
Yeah.
They were fine.
Yeah.
They weren't painful.
No, I thought
fine.
they both looked fine.
Yeah.
Honestly, the whole team, they looked fine. I think as far as looks goes, this team looked better.
The ears were so...
Yeah, Grey Matter had good ears.
No, I'm talking about Vivi's fucking Eeyore ears are just something.
And then also, Auntie Heroine's ears, I think, were just like a piece of construction paper she like glued to her ears.
Yeah, it was just like a cheap little quick prosthetic to just be like, I got ears.
Yeah, so yeah, that was a choice. But otherwise, like, I don't know.
Yeah, they're all black and red as their color scheme. So they go together.
And I will say, I appreciated that Grey Matter, like, rhinestoned his rabies rashes.
Yeah, the rhinestone rabies rashes were cute. I did like that.
I don't think he really got much credit for this, but I do feel like that's exactly when they told him last week that it wasn't very drag. To me, that's like it's easiest way to just drag something up. Fucking rhinestone.
Put a rhinestone.
Like it doesn't matter what it is. Put
make it sparkle.
Literally, and also his makeup was also a lot more drag, like traditional drag.
I think I would guess that Yuri maybe did something with him because they have very similar faces this week. They both were doing like the brows with the blue and black eyeshadow. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking maybe Yuri like went over and like did some makeup with him or something. Anyways,
it's possible. I mean,
and he was wearing heels this week. He was wearing heels for them.
Yeah,
he borrowed somebody's pleasers and put them on.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the rat team. Let's move on to the snake team.
Yeah, we got the snake pit now, which is Asia, Aurora, Jaharia, and Pi. And I would say at least they were given music that was a bit more energetic. But for some reason, their audio levels were so low.
Yeah.
It's like they turned the mics down.
I gotta be honest, I don't remember anything about anyone except Pi. Pi was the one person where I felt like they really like gave it their all and like tried to belt and sing and whatever. Jaharia, I think, also kind of sounded like she was singing.
Yeah, Jaharia was singing. Asia did her best.
Yeah. I think
she
Aurora
at least
did like a
cool.
Character voice. Oh, Aurora sounded awful, didn't she?
I mean, yeah. Aurora was already like,
really
I know I can't sing, but we're just gonna do something.
It was rough.
Their entire motif is that they're doing like black patent leather, lime green, like fishnets and stuff, and like spikes.
I need you to understand that I have been to a lot of bad theater, and I've been to a lot of bad musical theater.
Yeah.
And this really, even when you go to the worst musical theater you can ever imagine, at least those people really want to be there.
I can tell everybody here is just so uncomfortable and they're just trying to get through this.
Yeah, they're just trying to do this the best they can with a fucking gun to their head. It's rough. It was so rough.
But this team was they did fine. Nobody really messed up. At least Pi really, even though Pi can't sing, Pi really gave it a lot of energy.
Yeah.
I really went in there and was loud.
Did what he could.
Like, it's just, the entire thing is just rough. I would have cut this episode. If I was editing the show, I would have cut this episode and went like,
Literally.
we lost Vivi and we don't know what happened to her. Sorry.
I would have just skipped it. I would have been like, Vivi got eliminated in the electrocution episode of
there
last
you go.
episode.
There you go.
And then at some point Majesty didn't want to be here anymore. Like, I literally would not have aired this episode.
It's so bad.
It was rough. It reminded me of why I never make it through a Dragula season, because at some point in the middle, it gets so bad. And I feel bad for the contestants because it's not their fault.
Usually it's like an inverted bell curve. I think it's what it's called. It's like it starts good, but it's gonna dip down in the middle, but then it gets better right at the end.
Yeah.
And then there's the reunion. The reunions are great.
I really think that the Boulay brothers should take a page out of RuPaul's book and just start.
Well, that's why we have the musical episode. We have RuPaul to thank for this.
But no, you know what they don't fucking do? And this is the thing. The thing about RuPaul is that she will lose her shit and yell at you when you're bad. And that's the thing that drives me crazy about the Boulay brothers, is they're just so nice to them for some reason. And I don't think it's doing them any favors. Like, they need to know that this was bad.
Yeah.
They need serious critiques on what happened here.
Yeah.
I almost feel like it's almost like they felt bad that they made them do it because it was so
it's
bad.
Like they're just apologizing.
Literally, because like at one point, like I feel like even Auntie Heroine in a cutaway was like, I feel like they're being really generous. And they were. They were being really generous.
They were being really generous.
Because this was painful to watch as a viewer.
It just sucks because nobody really excelled. That's what makes it the most painful.
No.
But yeah, they finish their performances, and that's when the Boulays are doing their, like, you know, their one-on-one talk with each other, where they usually talk a lot of shit, and they're being real nice today. Yeah, but that's when they even acknowledge, they're like, who are we doing this for?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they just kind of were like, I don't know. It's a new challenge. There's always going to be like a lot of hiccups when they're doing something they've never really done before on the show. So I don't know. I
think the roughest part of all is that they just like, it's also not helping them that there's no scenery, there's no props, there's no set. It's just the storyline.
It's not even like, at least in Drag Race, when they do their little, like, their dumb little rusicals or whatever, there's at least like a plot and a story.
Yeah.
It's some sort of parody of
something. This was just so bare bones. It's hard to do anything with it.
Yeah, it really wasn't that much different from the Rock Band Challenge, except for the music was somehow worse.
Yeah.
So.
But we're like getting down to the judging, and literally the only thing that they can really point out is like, there were two clear people who really fucked up.
Yeah.
And it was just Auntie Heroine forgetting the lines and like stumbling from that. And Vivi being so offbeat that it's impossible to ignore.
Yeah. But the twist was that they decided to give the winning team the ability to decide who's going in the bottom.
Yeah.
So they didn't actually go off of the Boulay brothers' critiques. And this is where we come back to everyone's...
They eventually did.
Well, this is where we come back to everyone's favorite storyline, the Alliance.
Please. Oh my god. So, yeah.
Asia, Consent, and Pie go into a corner and just talk to each other in the most suspicious way possible. Like, do they think that nobody knows? It's like, at this point, they're just openly, like, they're friends, I guess, and in an alliance. Like,
yeah. So they send the snake pit back to the cauldron, and only the snake pit, so they can decide and deliberate who they're going to put in the bottom. And that's where Asia and Pie go to one corner, and Aurora and Jaharia go to the other corner of the cauldron. And they're both both teams are just like scheming, and instead of just talking out loud to each other, they're just like Jaharia and Aurora are scheming to put gray matter in the bottom again. And Asia and Pie are scheming to get Auntie Heroine in the bottom, even though Auntie Heroine is like an easy pick to put in the bottom.
Right. And also, what the fuck was the rat team doing during this?
They were just sitting on the stage, just
on stage with the
waiting their
Brule brothers
fate.
for like 30 minutes while these, because this was a long conversation. Like, even in the time of the show, it felt like they were back there talking for like 10 minutes of the actual episode.
So if they're just sitting on the stage, that's got to be like a interesting. Because also, I will say, this was a little sad, but like, it was a little upsetting because like Auntie Heroine looked at when they were doing the judging. Auntie Heroine looked like she was about to break out into tears. Like,
I would have.
it was like intense. I was like, oh god, this is about to go real south real fast.
Just from embarrassment, I would
yeah.
have probably cried if I performed like any of them did on that day.
I think
would
this
have
is
probably been crying.
We talked about this. We think this is why Majesty left, because Majesty was like, a musical episode. No, I'm gone. I can't do this.
I don't blame her. She dodged a bullet. Yeah, so they have this, like,
they all
really
chicken out on
long-
their machinations to put all the tops on the
Well,
bottom.
so here's the thing. I want to just say, they have this long conversation about who to pick. They all decide on Auntie Heroine and Grey Matter. And then something happens between the time that they have this long conversation and they come back to stage. Who knows how long it's been in actual real life time.
Who knows if they need to actually like break and then come back together.
Yeah, but at some point they all decide to, instead of put Grey Matter in the bottom, put Vivi in the bottom.
Yeah, they all
And
go
I
with what the
wonder-
judges say, and they're just like, okay, it's just gonna be Auntie Heroine and Vivi.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's because this extermination was a lip sync, if the producers urged them to pick.
Yeah, I wonder if there was a pressure
Vivi.
to put Vivi down there.
Because
It's hard
they
to tell.
probably just didn't think it would be a very interesting lip sync. Like, you know.
But yeah, they or maybe they didn't.
I
want
don't know
Grey
though.
Matter to
You
go
know what
home.
though? I will say Grey Matter is one of those bitches where like I feel like people would underestimate them in a lip sync, but then they might actually kind of slay it.
I was just worried about Grey Matter being in heels doing a lip sync because he didn't seem really comfortable in a platform heel.
Oh, I didn't even know.
He was just sort of like
honestly.
carefully scurrying around. He wasn't doing any big
I'm
movements.
gonna be honest. In Grey Matter's team, it was such a barrage of like flopness between Vivi and Auntie Heroine. I did not notice a single thing that Yuri or Grey Matter did. So I believe
But
you.
yeah, Auntie Heroine really, when during the judging, was really throwing the entire team under the bus, trying to be like, well, because they were all so off, it made me get off. And I'm like, girl, you gotta just say I fucked up.
Not get off.
Ugh. But yeah, they gotta, once again, this is such a drag race episode because there's no real extermination. Instead, they're going to do a lip sync for your life, sudden death elimination, and the song that I thought they would do something musical related.
I do also just want to say, before we get into that, there's this moment during the deliberation where Pi says something and Vivi looks at Pi like she fucking hates them. Do you remember this?
Oh my god, we completely skipped over this. They've been praising Jaharia for all the work that Jaharia did, and they're like, did you lead, like, who was your team leader? Because they didn't really have like official leaders, but the entire team is like praising Jaharia for being like, Jaharia got us together. We're so thankful to have Jaharia on this team because like she kept us from being a mess and like got us all down with the choreo and all that kind of stuff. But then Pi goes up there and it's just like, I was the leader.
You're
I
right.
led on a lot of things.
But then, is that why Vivi was? Because Vivi wasn't on that team. So
No.
why did Vivi look over? Like they really made a
They
point
did like
to show
this
Vivi's.
weird cutaway to Vivi going like,
Yeah, like what was that for?
it was a weird shade, like,
There was never any storyline between
weird.
these two.
No.
They never talk about it. It's not addressed. It was just
was
such a
so
bizarre
weird.
moment.
but like they named Jaharia not Jaharia. I wanted Jaharia to win because I was like, she seemed to put in a lot of work to get this group presentable,
Yeah.
but they gave it to Pi, which Pi
Yeah.
at least put a lot of like energy into the performance as much as they could, but like I thought it was strange.
I thought it was strange too, and I'm gonna be completely honest. As a if I was casting, like if I'm Alaska and I'm casting for my musical because that's what this is, the winner gets to be in Alaska's musical, I would have picked Jaharia because she can dance, she can kind of sing. Like she just all around gave a better performance. So I don't understand why.
Yeah, because like Jaharia also did like one of the better performances.
Yeah,
in the actual
Jaharia and Pi were definitely
show.
top two.
So I was just really confused as to why Pi was named winner this week when I thought Jaharia probably deserved it
I
way
have
more.
No idea. Truly,
very confusing. Clue. I mean, congratulations to Jaharia, but
you mean Pi?
I mean Pi. Sorry, I don't even want to say it. Apparently, congratulations, Pi. I was so like on your team last week, but this week I was just so confused.
Yeah, I mean, listen. I like Pi. I don't have a problem with Pi. I think the judging of these episodes is more and more confusing each week.
Yeah, this one was so baffling to me.
Yeah. So I don't know. So then
this entire episode was so confusing.
Literally. So then they lip sync, right?
They lip sync, and Vivi seems to only be kind of there.
I thought. I mean, I just thought it was bad. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too harsh, but it's like, I don't feel like there's certain elements of Dragula that are so clearly pulled from Drag Race. Yeah. And when they occasionally do a lip sync for your life, it's obviously a Drag Race trope that, because they do that in every episode of Drag Race. Well, so like, I understand.
One thing that's very clearly different is the Drag Race crew, the camera people, and the editors are really good at cutting a lip sync, even if it's bad, to like tell a narrative, to like showcase people lip syncing. But like, I feel like this lip sync was so confusing to watch because of the way it was shot and edited.
Yeah.
Because also, once again, I thought they were going to do like a musical song, like some sort of like Broadway musical style thing for the musical episode. They did a song by Dali.
Right. Weird.
It was weird.
I wanted them to do like, imagine they just did like Oklahoma.
Please. Like that would be more interesting.
It would make more sense. Yeah. I don't know.
It was just an odd choice.
I don't really like when they do lip syncs on Dragula. I just feel like, to be honest, it's never that entertaining. They pick weird music. It's like if I went to a club and I saw that lip sync, I would be confused and I'd probably just kind of be bored and like I wouldn't be paying attention. And it's not necessarily the performer's fault, I don't think.
No.
I don't know.
I don't know. It was just Auntie Heroine won lip sync, I guess.
Yeah.
She did do a better job. Vivi was like Vivi would seem like in the middle of the song to just kind of give up and just like stop trying altogether. It was very confusing and it felt bad to watch.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like it was a very like, it wasn't like a fun, joyous lip sync. It was very like solemn and like, they both just seemed really upset. And it just wasn't like a fun watch. And then they announced, Auntie Heroine won and that Vivi gets eliminated on the spot.
Right.
It was so weird.
And then, so in the end, when Vivi got eliminated, the Boulay brothers said, tomorrow the next phase of the competition begins.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're supposed to read anything into this. I don't know if they just
I don't know if that's just a throwaway line or if they actually plan on changing
if there's some big change coming. I will say, I feel like this season has been going on for eternity and there's still somehow 7 people left. So I'd love it if they start like getting some double eliminations or something. Because I'm going to be real, if we weren't reviewing every episode of the show,
usually, like, I don't know, I forgot how many people were in the top last season, but season 4 had a top 4. So we could be closing in on the end already.
I mean, 7 people, that's still 3 more that need to be eliminated.
Yeah.
So that's still at least 4 more episodes.
I can count.
I'm just saying. This feels like it's been going on for far too long. What episode was this?
5.
God.
I think it's just because the episodes are so excruciatingly long.
Yeah.
Anyways.
They should cut them down. They should really make them shorter.
We should cut our episodes down.
Literally. Well, I don't know if I have anything else to say about this.
How
honestly.
would you... This is the worst episode of the season so far, by far.
Yeah.
If I ever get the urge to like revisit this season, I'm skipping this episode completely.
Yeah.
I'm not rewatching this.
No.
I don't think anybody had fun
But
this
you know
episode.
what, there's a sick part of me that I would rewatch it because it was so bad.
Oh God.
It's like
it's just one of those things where it's like
Vivi's-
nobody seemed to have fun this episode. Not a single person.
You remember when Utica did the roast challenge?
I love that roast.
Exactly. But
That's
when
an
it first
example
happened,
of a
though,
beautiful train wreck.
we were all horrified when that first happened.
Oh, I loved it.
But like to me, it's like I don't know. That's kind of like Vivi's performance in this musical.
I don't know. I don't think it's nearly on the level of like, RuPaul, you're such a fashion legend. Stand up so we can give you a round of applause. Like that was... I will never forget that.
What about when she was just calling people fat? Do you remember?
That was uncomfortable. That was bad.
That was so crazy. We need to we should watch that season of Drag Race next, honestly.
That would be fun. But you know what's not fun?
All right.
Dragula season 6, episode 5.
Who do you think's gonna win?
I still think Asia. Asia is still
Yeah.
my number one.
Same. I think Asia deserves to win from what I've seen so far. I think Auntie Heroine also is probably a top competitor.
Yeah.
Same with Grey Matter.
Yeah.
I think they're the top 3. I think the show is telling us they're the top 3. And I think that's fine. I'm not mad about it. I wish they'd start eliminating. We can do some double eliminations.
Yeah, I think a gaggy double elimination next episode would be fantastic. I want to get to the reunion.
All right, well,
Well,
I guess that's all.
that's
Make
it.
sure
Until
you
next
like,
week.
subscribe, follow us, subscribe on the things, follow us on all our socials. Also, we
Check
have
out the Patreon if you want to do live watch parties with us. It's really fun. It's definitely
is
worth the
fun.
$10, $5.
And we
$10?
don't just watch Dragula. We typically, I mean, at this point, we've been watching like 5 movies a fucking
God.
day.
Depending on how much
So-
energy we have, we watch things for
Yeah.
the podcast in general that we plan on talking about, and also just whatever.
Yeah, so
just
we
wanna
watch
hang
a lot
out.
of stuff in the watch parties. If you want to hang out with us and watch things, feel free to join the Patreon. Any paid level has access to the live watch parties, along with other exclusive content, which we should have our first exclusive episode for the Patreon coming up soon. It'll be on Grave Encounters. We gotta film that at some point.
Gotta film that. It's just Dragula's been kind of consuming our lives at the moment, along with other stuff that's
Yeah.
going on. So we just haven't really been releasing many other episodes because these I put a lot of effort and love into.
Yeah.
But anyways, thanks for hanging out this week. We'll see you next week, where hopefully people go home faster.
Yep.
Hopefully it's better than this.
Bye.
Goodbye.